Happy New Year's, everyone. This is Cho of the Shiny Colors Discord, and welcome to another episode of The Shiny Review. Today we have a very New Year's themed banner featuring a new P-SSR for Koito, support SSR for Rinjay, and a support SSR event card for Toru. Starting things off, we have Koito. Noctchill threatens the player base with a third limited SSR in their second set. Will this mean Hinata will be permanent, or will they go for broke with an entire set being limited? Well, anyway, Koito 2 is the payoff of the many visual Noctchill supports we've seen in the last few updates. She takes aspects of previous Noctchill limiteds, but also borrows mechanics all the way back from Rinzay's second SSR. In other words, the more memory gauge you have, the more damage her appeals will do. Unlike Rinjay 2, Koito 2 actually gains memory gauge with her appeal rather than spending it. Her link appeals can also apply 4 turn 50% visual buffs, and she has a ton of useful passives and visual limit breaks. Her memory appeal is theoretically very strong, all things considered, and she has all the fixings to make a powerful option for Noctchill. Visual Noctchill is almost totally sound, it just needs another piece or two before it becomes a real team. Vocal Noctchill might even use her solely for the memory gauge gain. Her roles are attacker, buffer, memory gauge boost, evasion, and maybe even a center, depending on how you feel. She's got a lot of things going for her. And I moderately to highly recommend pulling for this Koito. Koito's initial skill is a visual 3.5 appeal that follows up with a visual 0.2 to 1.0 appeal that scales based on how high your memory gauge is. She also gives you 15% memory gauge after both appeals. Her link appeal, which only requires Hinata to activate, is a visual 50% buff for 4 turns. At max, she unlocks a visual 5.0 appeal that follows up with a visual 0.3 to 1.5 appeal, again scaling based on how high your memory gauge is, and then she gives you 25% memory gauge. Her link appeal, which now requires Madoka and Toru, is a 50% visual buff for 4 turns. Koito's 1-star passive is a visual 50% up that requires Koito on your team. This has a 30% chance to activate 3 times. Her 2-star passive is a visual 50% buff that also raises your evasion by 20% as long as you have an active evasion buff. This has a 30% chance to activate 3 times, and this also unlocks an additional plus 50 visual uncap. At 3 stars, she unlocks both a visual 150 uncap and visual 50 uncap. Koito also has a 4-star passive, a visual 75% up that requires the turn count to be 4 or later. This has a 30% chance to activate 3 times. Koito's memory appeal once maxed out is a visual 120% buff until you take damage that links into a visual 3.0. For support recommendations, Toru is absolutely the crux of visual Noctchill at the moment, with Madoka a close second. Now, these two cards don't actually play too nice with each other since one is attention up and the other is attention down, so keep that in mind as you grab passives. Limited May, of course, is still a powerhouse, and I would recommend grabbing an SP battery like Fuyuko or Yuika because you're gonna need it. For the alternatives, Mamimi can help generate SP, while Mono and Meguru are still reasonable options when paired together. Yuika can assist with solid visual passives and an okay SP mastery, while Amana helps keep you in the visual room for most of the run thanks to her visual stamina skill. No team recommendation here, unless you'd like to watch one of our previous videos that talked about a theoretical visual Noctchill. I don't think that team is quite ready to really have a full dive as to what can make it work, but you're welcome to use the previous video as kind of a basis if you really want to try using visual Noctchill with this Koito at the helm. As a center, Koito earns anywhere from a B to an S+. If you have the right setup for Koito, you might be looking at a flat 120% buff to all your appeals as soon as your first memory appeal goes off. As long as you can continue to dodge or prevent attacks from connecting, you might even get a second or even third stack for the end of the run. In practice, not incredibly feasible, hence the B, but in theory, super strong. That's where the S+ comes in. As a unit, Koito earns anywhere from an A+ to a SS. This card by herself is actually pretty nuts. While she's not as directly powerful as a card like Chiyuki 5, she certainly has many other charms that give her a reason to be used on visual teams. Her value almost certainly goes up once Visual Noctchill gets another P-SSR and her team is fully realized. You might be able to splash her into visual teams, but you'd want to wait for a strong visual Koito support before you begin that effort. You know, keep things synergized at least. Next we have our support SSR, Rinjay. On the heels of Ban Choco from a little while ago, Rinjay arrives as another excellent style support who focuses on generating SP, and ideally doubling your efforts through perfect mastery. Since her support appeal is excellent, she becomes a useful wing support in Truends, since she can hit all judges with equal force. Her passives are strong at a cost, and much like recent limited supports, level 80 is really gonna matter for this card. Her support skills are Idol's Bond, Promise Recovery, Rest Boost, and Stamina support, and her unique support skills are Unit Mastery SP, reaching +7 at level 70, and Perfect Mastery, reaching +5 at level 80. Her support appeal does scale, starting in at Excellent 3.0, becoming a 3.1 at level 60, and 3.5 at level 80. Her TFD idea is Appeal, and her Insight token for Grad is Dance. Rinjay's 1-star passive is a Vocal Dance visual 25% up, and it only requires Rinjay to be on your team. It has a 10% chance to activate 3 times. Her 2-star passive is more of the same, a Vocal Dance visual 40% up that requires Rinjay on your team and has a 10% chance to activate 3 times. Her 3-star uncap is a Vocal Dance visual +75, and her 4-star appeals, since she has 3 of them, is a slow 2.0 appeal to all judges that increases their interest by 25% for 2 turns. She has one available for vocal, dance, and visual, so you're welcome to grab whichever one is most appropriate to the stat you're building. Her event uncap is a Vocal Dance visual +50. Rinjay earns an S+. Rinjay is the ultimate partner for Ban Choco if you want the flexibility to both gain whatever stat you need and also consistently gain a decent amount of SP. Her passive activation rates are still fairly low, and her 4-star appeals have some potentially interesting applications for Hokago if you feel that AoE damage amps are something you think you need. Maybe this will help out cards like Jury 2 and Natsuha 3, so they can replace their 2.0 AoE attacks with 2.0s that have some benefits behind them. Maybe this will pan out a little bit better than the Interest Ignore style from Ban Choco. Guess we'll have to see. I moderately to highly recommend pulling for this Rinjay. Lastly, we have our event SSR Toru. Okay, listen. I was joking when I said we were being deprived of Toru content. Please, calm down, Shiny. It hasn't even been a month! Toru's event SSR is more of the same we've seen with previous event cards. The most notable thing about Toru is the fact that she's Dance, which makes me assume the next Noctchill SSR will be Dance-focused. We'll have to keep an eye on Hinana, I guess. I'm not sure why they changed the previous Unit Mastery from the event Rinjay to Dance Mastery for Toru, but who knows. Her support skills are Idol's Bond, Promise Recovery, Rest Boost, and Stamina support, and her unique support skill is Dance Mastery Dance, reaching +8 at level 75. Her support appeal scales, starting at a Dance 2.5, working its way up to a Dance 3.0 by level 80. Her TFD idea is Dance, and her Insight token for Grad is Visual. Toru's 1-star passive is a Dance 18% up that requires the turn count to be 4 or later. This has a 30% chance to activate once. Her 2-star passive is a Dance 35% up that requires an active reaction buff. This has a 30% chance to activate once. Her 3-star uncap is a Dance +50, and her 4-star appeal is a Dance 2.8 that raises your evasion, in other words, this is the reaction buff for 2-star passive once, by 20% for 3 turns. Her event passive is a Dance 20% up that requires Toru on your team, and it has a 10% chance to activate twice. Toru earns a B. Kinda more of the same with event cards, though the 20% evasion buff on her 4-star appeal is pretty interesting. I'm not sure why her event passive got the hard hit to activation rate compared to cards like Rinjay, which had 40%, but you take what you can get, I suppose. She's a perfectly serviceable event SSR, just not something to really use heavily until Dance Noctchill is a thing. I recommend farming for her, all the same. And that's going to do it for the video today. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like the video, as that actually helps it get spread around a little bit easier, so that way we can help drum up more interest in shiny colors. Next time we'll be talking about whatever banner comes next, and I've also got plans to release the Wing tutorial, as well as maybe even a True End tutorial this month. Hopefully the schedule doesn't get a little too hectic. So, till next time, I've been Cho, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.